Good evening. This is Penelope Flynn and the rest of your Blerdsassins Next Door. We've got Cranston, Otto, Sonia on this lovely September 28th, 2024 edition of our show. And this is the last show for the month of September. And ready to get started by talking about the weather. So, Cranston, why don't you get started? I think you're in the most active weather alley right now.
Yeah, well, it was kind of crazy, and there's a thing that they do that people fall for every time is they show these cones with different colors, and if you're in the red zone, you're going to get hit. If you're in the yellow zone, you might get hit, and if you're orange, don't worry about it. And so people and they tell you that this might hit you, then it might not, The west side of the state did get hit pretty bad. That's the area around Tampa, Fort Lauderdale on the Gulf Coast. And they got like
the other side, we're the east.
Yeah, they got like 15 inches of rain, storm surges, and all kinds of stuff. The central part of the state and the eastern part of the state where I am, we got a lot of wind, but no tornadoes, and which was it. And most of it entered around the bend of the state and then just hit it off over. There was more coverage on what was going to happen to Atlanta than anything that was going to happen in Florida. So, but we were fortunate. So we just got, it took down a lot of loose trees, loose limbs, and some people in scattered parts of the city were without power for like 6 or 8 hours. Some people happened to like twice, but for the most part, we just everything was pretty good.
I'm surprised under the circumstances that things went as well as they did. But I know that after some of the hurricanes that came through several years back, that a lot more preparedness has been put into place.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good thing was that we were just lucky. It wasn't any brilliant planning by the emergency management people, other than telling you if they tell you to leave your house and don't stand, abandon your trailer. So it wasn't anything they did that helped anybody out. It was just that we were just blessed not to be hit.
I don't know when they told people, just get if you want to stay, then get a magic a Sharpie marker and your name and who you are, just in case you have to recover your body. I think that made people think more seriously about it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that there have been too many stories about people who refused to evacuate or waited until too late. And it's like either if you don't know somebody personally, you know of somebody, and people are taking it a little more seriously.
Yeah. All right. And how about your weather, Sonia? Anything good? Get anything from this storm at all?
Yesterday it was a whole bunch of clouds. Now it's a drizzle, or as they call it, a light rain. But yeah, it's such a big system that yes, it's spreading its clouds all over. But I'm thankful that I'm not in Tallahassee. I'm also thankful that all my friends in Tallahassee are okay. It looked like it did more damage as it went up because they had already been drenched soaked. So the water had no place to go. So my heart goes out to people in Atlanta, Tennessee, and all those areas that got really nasty hit.
All right. Okay, well, how about you, Otto? How's your weather?
It was quite normal, actually, for the Southwest. It was like in the mid-70s, 80s, so dry, nothing really to think of, really to talk about. It's sunny, but it's incredible to me the amount of things that take up space in our brain now, as opposed to like 30 or 40 years ago. Like weather was never a thing that I thought much of, or the presidential election prior to like a year or two before the election, or rap artists or some sort of singer, entertainer having sex, like mean sex with other celebrities and random people. How did we get by? What filled our brains before this?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's things have changed so much. I guess you look back, we talk about Politico and all these other individuals. I remember back, what was his name? Gary Hart. And they were pissy about the fact that he changed his name to Hart from Hart Pence. That was a big deal. Remember that?
Yeah, but there's so many. But that happened. That happened prior to the Democratic National Convention, and then you would have the conventions, and then they would give us a break, and then they would have debates, and then after Labor Day, it would get kind of heated, and then there'll be the election. Right now, I don't know how people think about like normal things. What's a normal train of thought? I just don't try to remember what that's like when you think about stuff and just like go to work or something or watch television or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing is, it's the 24-hour news cycle, and you have to have. And they started looking at news as entertainment, and they don't talk about entertainment anymore as programs, but it's like content. You just have to have something on to
Yeah. Hello?
Something to sell.
Yeah.
It looks like Comcast didn't like what Cranston was saying again.
So saying we don't like that.
No, it's like I was watching CNN for the weather, and all the weather reports, and some of this stuff is so insipid. It makes me think of watching CNN, especially, that they really wanted Florida to be like half destroyed by this hurricane, and they're kind of disappointed that it wasn't a level 4 when it hit land. That it wasn't as, I mean, it did damage, and 40 people or more died. But they were expecting a lot more. The returns for that, they were expecting a lot more. I mean, it was like leading up to a Super Bowl or something. Every weather event is like a Super Bowl for the news industry.
I mean, they're looking for something to happen so they can talk about it
for days and days,
and justify sending people all over the country to cover it.
Yeah, we see people out in the rain and the they're saying.
That's the thing that bothered me when they showed the people outside in the rain and the wind. They said, "Oh, this is terrible wind rain." Why are you out there in it?
The wind is. They say the wind is going at 100 miles an hour, and so we know we've seen hurricanes before, bad weather with winds are that strong. Winds will pick up anything and toss it through the air. Why would you be in the middle of
stand out there? Yeah.
Any object going 100 miles an hour, a baseball going 100 miles an hour, hit you in your head is going to give you damage. I don't understand. I don't.
It's stupidity.
You don't need to be outside. Do you really need to be outside?
No, you don't. You can talk about it, from inside. But they want to be in, right. There's nothing going on, so why are you out there?
Well, this the crazy thing that happens here is that every time they talk about rip currents and all of that, that's when the surfers all go out.
Yeah, you know what? I've seen that too, where they have these big issues saying the big currents, and here come all the surfers, and they come right to those places for the purpose of catching those big waves.
I mean, the weather is unpredictable, so it hits South Florida, but not in the way that they wanted, and then it travel up to Atlanta, and so they try to stake these places out ahead of time, so they could cover the carnage. And so weather is not predictable, so the weather changed, and so when it hit land, it wasn't as strong as it was, and they had these predictors saying, well, it's going to be a Category 4, and it hit the land, it's going to be a Category 4. And then every place is going to be destroyed. Everywhere that everyone is going to be killed. And then people aren't.
It's not that bad.
And then people aren't. And then people later on come back and say, I don't have to leave my house because the last time they said this, it wasn't as bad as they said. So it's like with their coverage of this thing is a lot more dangerous.
Well, but you know what? But I think also the fact is that we're human and nature is nature. And if it had hit the places that they said and did the type of damage that they thought, then yeah, it would have been really, really bad. I mean, it's a good thing that people listened and left and didn't get injured. And they shouldn't make this like, oh, well, it didn't hit like they said that last time, so I should stay home. No, still leave. Still leave. But you still don't want to get smashed by trees and hit by, a car or a boat that's, flying through the air. So,
but there's a guy standing in the middle of the storm, and he's reporting to the cameraman in the light, and he seems to be okay. So it's like, it's like, if he's okay, then why should I be leaving my home?
Well, yeah. Actually, people in Tallahassee, the minute Jim Cantore left, they all went, we're evacuating. We got the hint. We're gone. Because they know he only shows up when it's really going to be bad. So it works both ways. That and the Waffle House closed. They saw those two signs and they were out.
Well, I know my sister decided, she said, whenever it's anything over a category 2, that she's leaving. She's not going to try to stick it out for anything over a category 2. Why tempt fate? It doesn't make sense when you can leave. And I mean, those people that cannot leave for whatever reason, I think it's more important for those who can to indeed leave, because if anything does happen, you don't want to be an impediment for help getting to those who could not. Well, that's right. But I mean, we've gone on about the weather for quite a while, but now we want to get into the meat of our programming. I was saying, okay, in the chat, we were just talking about this weather, that Gary was saying it's about ratings and drama, tabloid journalism replaced real journalism, and that's been quite a while. Maybe let's start with the Inquirer. Inquiring minds want to know. So
yeah, but that was garbage, right? So it's like you see that on your way out from the grocery line, you see that, and you put the paper back, and when you go to a populated area, that first copy of the Inquirer is so worn because everybody's standing in line.
And they read it and then they put it back.
Yeah, they put it back. They're not buying it. Yeah. Nobody wants to be seen buying that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the issue at hand, which is how to tell or how to determine whether your con is a con. And it came out because I don't know if y'all saw the thing, that Bridgerton experience in Detroit, where all the people thought they were going to go in and have this wonderful Bridgerton experience, and instead it ended up being not what they had, people not getting food, having nowhere to sit, all that. Can you all hear me pretty well, or am I coming in really softly?
You're coming in. It's not as hollow as before, or solid. There you go.
Hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Fine.
Yeah, because I'm looking at me and said, well, what's wrong with this picture? I'm not wearing my headset. But the sound, of course, is coming out of my speakers. But yeah, it's not coming through my headset. So that's what the issue is here. All right.
Okay.
Of course, the Bridgerton thing was what got me started about it, because I remember earlier this year in Valentine's Day, that there was an event that was like that here in Dallas, actually in Fort Worth, and very well attended, very well done. Everything that we were promised, that stuff happened. So I wonder how it is that you don't have the thing go off the way that you said that it would. If you aren't going to have, a full meal, then, sort of just tell people we're going to have appetizers, and do that. Don't say you're going to have, special guest stars.
Sounds like they didn't. Yeah, it sounds like they didn't even plan for that.
I mean,
that they didn't hire the entertainment until 2 days before, and she gave them appropriate things, and at the very bottom of the list was pole acrobatics, and they went, that's what we want. And how is this Bridgerton
Yeah, to have a pole dancer. It's like, and she wasn't
She
wearing
is.
traditional
She
clothes.
insisted she was a circus performer, so they were. She had been member of Cirque du Soleil or something similar.
Mhm.
So she was trying
I
to tell
guess
them,
when
yes,
I
I
guess when she
know
was
the
pole
entertainment.
dancing, maybe they thought she was going to do a different type of dancing on the pole. Using the pole, doing kind of something that looks Victorian or some steampunk looking thing. I don't know. I have no idea why they thought that was a good idea.
Well, I think the closest thing they had to pole dancing back in those days was burning people at the stake. So short
Oh,
of that,
thank you, Cranston. Thank you for that. But I think wow. But as the individuals who are paying their hard-earned money for this thing, how in the world would people know whether or not this was a positive experience or a negative experience, or was going to be? And what warning signs could these people have looked out for? I mean, I know the first thing is that my, concern was be, for instance, when you look at the website and other information, you see things like, I know it sounds silly, but misspelled words and things that you're writing that don't make sense. And then I would worry, okay, is this really on the up and up, or is this somebody just trying to throw something together quickly to get some cash? I mean, I would think that you would look at that, and also, is this the person's first time at the rodeo?
mhm.
Is it the first con that they've ever done? What have they ever been involved in some other things? Maybe not even not to be convention, but like parties, throwing parties or anything like that. Have you ever done anything like that before? A wedding planner, any type of event planning. Have you ever done it before? Or are you hiring a professional event planner or a place that does events to do it for you? Um, that's, I
Is
think,
the
something that I would look at. Hmm.
is the venue an appropriate location for what they're talking about doing?
Yeah. Yep. 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 And if you have to go there in a car, is there parking? Do they take into consideration those things? I think that it's something like the Bridgerton thing. How I mean, it's had some pictures. I saw a what do you call it? An article, and they had the information about it. I think I'm trying to find it, but how the people were actually sitting like on the ground, because they didn't have enough chairs. And I'm gonna put that in the chat for those the comment place for those who might have an interest. But I thought, wow, you know, and people dressed in their nice little Regency outfits and not really having a place to sit. Then they think they bought food, but the tickets were supposed to include food, and they didn't get that food that they ordered. So yeah,
Well,
and that's
earlier this year there was the Wonka experience. Excuse me,
oh
they called it Willy's chocolate experience because they
yeah,
couldn't
that was very
afford
smart.
Wonka.
Yeah, and that thing, wow, they said was also not what it was that it was supposed to be. Um, Basically, I think what it was that they had it's supposed to have food and
Can't. Yeah.
candy and no, and no, did not have the Wonka experience. That Willie's chocolate experience, because people said Willie was saying no, they were smart. Willie's chocolate experience, that it was not what it was that the people thought it would be. And I mean, but how do you know that your thing is going to be a mess? I mean, it's one of the things also I look at is the price. If you look at the price of this thing and what it is that they're offering, and the two are not, congruent, I would say, okay, how are they affording, to have, I don't know, Taylor Swift and Lenny Kravitz, singing at this thing, and we're only paying $25 a piece, and we're gonna have dinner. So how is that? You know, I don't know. And somebody here was talking about this before the the Willy's chocolate experience before it went out. This is somebody posted on Reddit saying, "Has anyone else been getting Facebook ads for Willy's chocolate experience? Every image is AI generated, along with all the gibberish text it's trying to create. Not one single picture giving people an idea of what they are shelling out money for, and yet people are buying up tickets. Can't wait for the inevitable influx of posts and Glasgow Live article of people demanding refunds after it turns out to be a lot of shite. For anyone finding this post that attended the event, I don't want to come across as I told you so, but please in the future look into things before barreling in and handing over money." This is by prestigious Try 4610, who wrote this in Reddit. But although they wrote it, and I guess ahead of time, and it ended up being true. That you're looking at something, like I said, things are spelled wrong, things that make sense. Like it says, all these AI generated pictures that don't show you what you're really supposed to be getting. And I think you should worry, before putting out your money, is this real? You know? And somebody says that, all the promotion with this use terrible AI art littered with spelling mistakes, but still people were responding saying, "This looks class. We should take the kids." What look class? There were literally no actual pictures of anything. So is that something that you all look at? Do they show pictures, or I don't know? Do you look for testimonials, or what is it that you all look to when you're trying to make a decision as to whether or not it's right? Or actually what it says it is. And now Gary was saying, what activities or panels did they have for guests? So yeah, that too. What activities and panels do people have? I don't know.
Well, I think part of it is that if you look at all of the number of misspellings and grammatical
The grammatical errors and stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
mistakes
Mm-hmm.
and um,
Okay.
weird things that come through that you realize
You're coming in kind of
that
you're breaking up a little bit. Okay, breaking up a lot of bit.
people.
Okay. And if you have more information about the Willy's chocolate experience, there's a Vanity Fair article. Um, um, the Hollywood Willy's chocolate experience nightmare. What went wrong? So there we go. So there we go. So there we go. Hollywood Willy chocolate experience nightmare. What went wrong? So, any interest? That is information regarding the Willy's chocolate experience. And I think Cranston was speaking, but he has now been stopped. Like you said, Comcast said, enough of that. Okay. So, and what
At
Cranston,
least, I was gonna say, at least the Wonka people got their money back. I'm not too sure about the Bridgerton folk.
no, I don't know either. But in this situation, think about it though. These people have really, they start out, and instead of backing off when it looks like it's not going to go, or let people know that, subject to change or something like that, they keep collecting money. And also, I think a lot of people don't know how much things really cost. Like, how much does it cost to have, 3 headliners? And that may be your entire budget, if
Yep.
you think in terms of, I need 3 headliners, but then I got not just to pay them, I have to have a place for them to live. I got to pay for their travel and their food, all these things for them to get here. And a lot of people don't think about that. So, yeah, sure, I can afford this, but have you thought about the fact that they have to travel with an assistant possibly, and that they expect that to be included as well. So I think a lot of times people are looking at things and think, okay, yeah, I can do this, but they don't think far enough into it to think, oh, wait a minute, I can't afford all this extras that are due, when we're trying to pay for all this stuff. So I think, yeah. And what Cranston was saying, he was repeating some of the things that I said, and he was going on to say something further. But the fact that this the Willy's experience, Willy's Chocolate experience, the person said they were using AI artwork and had misspellings, and I guess improper grammar, and people were still saying, "Boy, this is really great." But I know Otto is the one who, kind of schooled me on this years and years ago about the concept of a con. And of course, we take con, we're talking about a convention, but the other con is a con for confidence man. And basically, they take you into their confidence and you think that they're trustworthy and that you do whatever it is that they want you to do because now you have taken this person to be a confidant or somebody that you trust. And one of the things that Otto was telling me about, these people who are these confidence men. Hey, Otto, you go ahead. Tell us about confidence men.
Well, I mean, you pretty much explained it, right? So it's like somebody who gains your confidence. First, they gain your confidence by doing small things, and then they gradually build it up. So you get confidence in them, and then you don't like fact check them anymore or verify what they're saying or anything because they have your confidence, and now they have your confidence. And they come in going for the kill.
Yeah. And the other thing you always told me about is the fill in the blank with people who are conning you.
Oh yeah, people always do that. I mean, yeah, people always do that. It's like, I was at a party the other night, and I was with that guy from the government, that guy who was from DC, the guy, what's his name? What's the guy's name?
I mean, Neil.
You fill in the blank.
Yeah, you fill in the blank.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
And then he told me, he told me that he was going to do an XYZ, and so you fill in the blank, you fill in the words for that person, right? Because they want you to, because then you help build their story for them.
Yeah, that way they can't say that you told them a lie. It's like, I didn't say that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't say that. You said you fill in the blank. It's like
you filled in the blank,
like a
right?
highlights book or something. Yeah, like a
right.
A page from highlights. You fill in the blank.
Mm-hmm. That I didn't tell you that. You just presumed it.
I didn't say that.
And that's the thing. Most people, I think, get in trouble with that, with the fill in the blank. That
fill
we
in the
say
blank, the random discussion about things unrelated to the topic at hand. Name dropping, various name dropping. It almost like we should do a list of things.
Yeah.
That people do. It's like it's almost like one presidential candidate was saying that a rapper, a reggae rapper, and was endorsing him, and the person was in the crowd, and the person's name was Nikki, and he said, "Nikki, come up. Where's Nikki? She's one of my favorite artists." Of course, Nikki was a man, and so the premise being that somebody when you really don't know them at all.
Yeah. Yeah, and that it's like, and that's the thing. That's their scam. That they're telling you, oh, I know this person. They are, my best friend, my buddy, and you know that name, and you're like, wow, they know so and so. But of course, it's not the so and so that you know. They just let you again fill in the blank, or they didn't know who it was, and they were sold, a bill of goods. Who knows? But this whole concept of people saying, "Oh, so and so just made a mistake here, did that there." But understand, if somebody's asking you, to pay, $300 a ticket, $200 a ticket, $50 a ticket to do a thing, then all the text should be perfectly edited. They should not be asking you for your money without having perfectly edited text, even if it's $25.
Well, do you
The
think
text should
do you
be
think
perfect.
you think the AI makes that easier for con men or con people to do their thing because get a lot of that grammatical stuff out of the way?
I mean, I would hope that, and that's the problem. If you are using AI to the extent that you're not even using it to edit and throwing it up so that there are errors in it because you don't speak the language, then that should automatically, you know, the siren should be going off in your head that something's not right here, right? If they're using AI and they're still getting it wrong, that should tell you something. Also, like the person said, they're using all this AI artwork, and that's wonderful. It looks very pretty and stuff. But if you're saying that it's going to be at a certain location, then I kind of would like to see what that location looks like in real life. The way it's going to be when I get there, not your idealized fantasy depiction of it, right? I should see what it actually looks like, you know?
Yeah, and you know what? Things make sense to you. I mean,
Yes.
you're we have we underestimate our own intelligence. We think that if it doesn't make sense to us, then we're not getting it because it's too complex or something. But when
Right.
somebody tells you something about a thing, whether it's a show or
Mhm.
a convention or it's,
That's right.
buying whatever, it should make sense to you. And if it
Exactly.
doesn't make
I put
sense
that
to
in there.
you, yeah,
Like I put this right here. Don't underestimate your own intelligence. I said the pitch should make sense to you.
we're not dumb people. You know, we know what's
Yeah.
going on. If someone comes to us and says X, Y, Z, and then you say that doesn't make sense, and then they come back and say, well, maybe you're not at that level yet, or something.
Yeah, you know how they do that. Oh, maybe you just don't understand, at that level. Something, this isn't for everyone. You know, everyone isn't. I mean, we've
Obviously,
met people.
if you don't understand it, then you're not, definitely not there.
Right, right, exactly. And then also, we said don't fill in the blanks. Don't fill in the blanks, girl. And say don't presume what is not specifically stated.
That being said, there are some events and conventions that are the first time round,
Hmm.
but you can tell the people tried to do it right.
Well,
Right.
if somebody tells you we're going to have the entire cast from all the Star Trek series, we're going to
Hmm.
have them in, let's say, someplace in Mississippi. Let's say, I don't know what's a place in Mississippi. God damn, I don't even know what's a place.
Tupelo.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know where that is. That's a place.
That's where Richard
So
Pryor's from. Tupelo, Mississippi.
okay. So they say, okay, we're gonna have all the actors, all the living actors, whoever played in the stuff. We're gonna have them there. They're gonna
Hmm.
be at this convention. We're gonna charge you $45 each day for each ticket, and $45 a day is, what is that, like $135 or something?
Hmm.
So you pay $135 in advance and everything, and then they say it's not. You understand this is non-refundable.
Hmm.
All this money is going to a good cause. They don't tell you what
Hmm.
cause it's going to, or they don't tell you what percentage of the money is
Hmm.
going to the cause, and they tell you all this stuff, and then one by one you hear people saying, well, Shatner is not going to be there, and then X is not going to be there. They had conflict, and then it comes out. You know what? It's just not what we thought it was going to be. We're going to have to cancel this.
Hmm.
And they knew all
The
along
next,
that wasn't.
yeah, the next
They
word
knew,
should be, and your refund will be in. You will get your
Yeah.
refund by. If they
Right.
yeah,
don't
it's like
say that,
refunding you. It's like going to like Costco or something and spending money at Costco, and then bringing something back, and then you get a refund, but it's in Costco bucks. So it's like you can only spend your money. All of a sudden, when you came in with the money, your money was good everywhere, all over the world.
Yes.
And now, when you brought back this effective Costco thing, you can only spend, your money's been narrowed down to spending it at Costco.
Yeah, Costco, right. That should also be a warning sign. You know, it's like you can spend it on a future event. Nope. Your money should come back as your money. You know, it went in as your money. It should come out as your money. You know,
Or we will use your money towards next year's event. You just have a
yeah,
ticket
but
for
say
next year's event.
no, because I may not be able to go to next year's event. I need my money back now. So I go to some different event that is not your event, right?
Amen.
Yeah, but it's like, what's that place? Tupelo, Alabama. You said
Tupelo, Mississippi.
Tupelo, as in the honey.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about. I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know what
yeah,
that is. Okay,
yeah.
but the reality is, with someone of a certain stature, would they be caught dead? They'd be that desperate to be caught dead in a town like that?
I mean, the thing is, I guess the trick is this: if you're telling someone that everybody from Star Trek is going to be at this event, and again, let's say they have pictures of everyone, and there are these testimonials or whatever from XYZ person. If you're not sure, it is easy enough to check online with these people's publicists. You can find the vast majority of them, if there's celebrities like that, on IMDb, and then say, and find, or go online, find wherever their agency is, and ask, will this individual be at this event on this day? So they say, if in doubt, check it out.
Yeah, some should already have it on their websites.
Yeah.
Don't they say, catch me at this convention? Or
That's right.
Yeah.
San Diego, whatever, blah blah blah.
If you're not sure that actor, whatever it is that you're looking for is going to be there on that day, then ask. Don't feel bad about asking, because it's your money and your time.
Yeah, it's definitely your money. You may not get it back. I mean, once it goes out the door,
that's right.
You may not get it back. And then the thing is, it's more than just not going, the money going out the door for the tickets. You got to pay for. You got to have a place to stay, right?
That's right.
And transportation, get there.
Yeah, you got to have a means of traveling there.
Yep.
You also got to, take off time for your job, or tell people, hey, I'm not going to be here. I got to take vacation time. All of this, the damage. It's like the thing the con people don't factor, they don't really care about, is how much damage they do to the person that they conning.
That's right. But they don't care, because they're con men and this is their job. So, like I say, if in doubt, check it out.
I see Cranston keep trying to get in, and you can't get in.
I
see him circling.
Clicked on him. Well, he's no longer circling. He's gone now. He was circling, but now he is disappeared. I'm sure he'll be back in a bit. But again, if in doubt, check it out. If you're not certain that your favorite will be at the event, check at their website or find their publicist or agent and ask. I mean, you're spending your money. Do not feel bad about contacting someone and asking, is this person going to be at that particular event? And they may say, yeah, but not till, a year from now or something. Not this coming year, but the next year. And so, okay, I won't come this year because I was expecting to see that person. Did not understand. Or they'll say, what event? What are you talking about? No, they are not going to be in Australia, this year at that particular event. And then you'll know. Don't spend your money. But a lot of times, again, these things come from filling in the blanks. We listen and we fill in the blanks ourselves without trying to find out any other information. I think you must have sent your Gary a link, Sonia, because he just jumped in.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yep.
can.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What?
I just listening to the conversation, and Sonia and I have some war stories to tell about putting together a con. If she remembers, we tried. We had George Takei come to our first. I think it was one of our first conventions
Hmm.
back in the Civic Center. And I think, how did we get George? Was that Comcast? Did they pay for
No,
George?
an organizer came and asked for help, and we helped, but they didn't. And to their credit, they didn't know who helped them, but they were appreciative of the work we did. Sorta.
Right.
George was appreciative.
Yeah. I mean,
We made great
it was
friends with
education.
George.
It was an
um,
education.
yeah.
And
But
So with regard to something like this, if you're saying, okay, we have this con going on, and we are going to be bringing in George Takei, and if people say, well, I don't know, I don't believe this con can bring in George Takei, then who is it that, in your opinion, they should be contacting to verify?
George.
let's see. Yeah, I was about to say is George had a contact number. Well, from my perspective, how much we got in because of the Civic Center,
Hmm.
we knew people, salespeople at the Civic Center,
Yeah,
and
we
they're pretty
first
sharp
we
people. Yeah.
yeah, we checked with the science. We checked with the civic center first to see if the person had paid for their space, the
Hmm.
organizer. And then
Hmm.
once we realized that the organizer did indeed pay for the space in advance, knowing the policies that the venue had, we could then volunteer our services, knowing that, well, they got something happening.
Hmm.
And so if we
And
brought
that's
in
the
a
thing
whole lot.
too. Oh, so that's the thing too. Okay, now
Mhm.
you were involved in this, so in order for you to feel comfortable, and you just said you checked with the civic center because
Yep,
you knew what their, um, I guess their protocols
rental
were,
requirements. Yeah.
right? And so the fact that they had basically been vetted by them made you
Uh-huh.
feel good about stepping out and saying, okay, we can get this connection done for you.
Right.
And
Well,
then
they
once
Um,
we
spent
put,
money. It
Hmm.
proved that they had
yeah,
receipts. I
Right.
mean, it's one thing to say I'm going to be at XYZ, a venue, and then you look at the calendar of events on the venue, like let's say Madison Square Garden or something, and there's nothing there, and then you got to say, where's your event?
Yeah. Why is your listed here on the venue's calendar of their
yeah.
schedule? Yeah.
Or if there's no advertising for an event,
Yeah. Okay.
or fortunately this one had lots of advertising.
But think about
but
these things like this Willie's Chocolate Experience, which had lots of advertising, but
No, they
was
had
only
webs.
advertising on Facebook stuff.
Right, it was only
Okay.
on Facebook, and it was only um it was viral. It was mostly word of mouth. Hey, this is
Hmm.
happening type thing. But if you see your local TV station getting
Right.
involved, or your local radio station getting involved,
Okay.
um
that's why you look at, well, who's sponsoring? Do we have vendors? We've had Comcast, and let's see, I think we had another local TV station.
mhm.
So, and then I'm trying to think who did. I think we had like Little Caesars back at the time when they were doing a lot of catering. But we had local sponsors,
Hmm.
and they bought into it, and that was also a good sign to look at too. And again, advertising. I spent many a times at the coffee shop, making flyers and
Hmm.
dropping off at various businesses. So it's, yeah, I can understand skepticism. And this is also the early days of the internet, so we didn't have a lot of uh, internet activity
It
to promote it. But we had like Starlog magazine. We placed an ad in there,
Hmm.
and let's see. And Starlog is kind of at the time was a highly read science fiction magazine. So I'm sure if George had seen that ad, he probably would have said, "Hold it," you know. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's yeah. Like I said, we were kind of new to the experience. Like I said, we were fortunate to have a organizer who was on the level and was vetted. And like you said, yeah, what is, has he done other events? He did one in
Hmm.
Jacksonville. So he said, and I knew somebody in Jacksonville, a comic shop owner, say, hey, have you had this guy in your town, come on to, oh yeah, I remember him. He was so and so. And Yeah, he talked to me and some other shops, set up tables and stuff. And it was small. It was a small con. It was good. It brought in a Marvel Comics artist. He was okay. We didn't have any problems with him. So, I hear things like that. If you get that kind of line where you could talk to, like a comic shop, or if you talk to, like, say, some other people who've been to cons. So, I knew a lot of people at cons, Dragon Con, and uh, we also did one in Atlanta called Star Con. That was another educational experience.
How
And we knew
so? Was that well? How was that?
It was it let us understand what's needed out of a venue. The organizer knew what he was doing. The stars knew the organizer, so they trusted him. The local community trusted him. The problem was the venue. The that's why I said see if the venue can support the type of thing you're looking for.
right.
Mm.
And at the time,
we found out that the venue had been sold, and they were only holding the new owners were only holding it because they wanted to keep the deposit money. They didn't really put any effort through to make sure it was a wonderful experience. So so always vet.
It's a different kind of con.
Yeah,
different con.
Yeah,
that was the venue. Yeah, that was the vendor. The vendors didn't quite live the venue, I should say, because the vendors were fabulous. But so there's lots of different con ways that things get conned.
Yeah, and what you need to determine whether the venue can support the type of event that is being publicized. So yeah, it may be great, like you said, everyone in the management team, everyone who is being a guest, the hosts, everyone knows their role, but the venue itself cannot support the type of event that is being publicized. For instance, you go somewhere and you find out that you expect to have food and find out we're going to a location that does not allow food.
Right.
So that's a problem,
Yeah.
And even if they did allow food, there's no way to keep it safe.
Right. And so all these things are to determine: can this venue support the event that's being publicized to take place there?
Yeah, but if you're a customer, you don't know. You don't know any of that stuff. I mean, the venue is legit. The people showing up are legit. And so you got this, you buy a ticket. It's like I bought a ticket to see Steely Dan, right? So, I called the venue. I said, hey, I want to get Steely Dan tickets. And they said, okay, we don't sell it directly, sir. You're going to have to go to back then. You have to go to Ticketmaster. Okay, go to Ticketmaster, and they give you a price, and you pay, and you get a ticket electronically sent to you. And then you go to the venue, and you see Steely Dan, right? So on the end user's point of view, I'm doing everything I need to do. So how would you know? It's like I went to see Steely Dan, and instead of Steely Dan, it's like Dan Steely or something, or
a cover band. Yeah, it's a cover band.
I had no idea.
Homage band. Yeah.
Well, in that case, you would go to the Steely Dan website and say, do they have if they're on tour, they're going to publicize it.
Yeah.
And if it's not on their website, it's not on their website,
but you wouldn't think to look for that. I mean, that's a hard one, because you know why? We expect Ticketmaster to vet that for us.
Yeah, I'm calling Ticketmaster,
and I'm looking at Ticketmaster.
Yeah,
and I'm looking at Ticketmaster saying, this is not Steely Dan. This is Steely Dan cover band. It does not say that on your tickets, so you owe me.
And Ticketmaster will go after them. Yeah.
Yeah, consider. Yeah, that you expect an entity like Ticketmaster to do the legwork for you.
As an end user, there's certain things I gotta have faith.
I'm never going to think about looking at.
I'm not going to look at it.
But that's another thing too. Like earlier, when Sonia was saying, to vet the venue itself. That this venue that she.
If it's Steely Dan, they better. And it's on a place that only holds like 100 people. It better be listed as. Yeah, it needs to be
maybe
listed as
I'm
an
the lucky.
intimate moment with Steely Dan or
I'm the lucky.
something.
Right.
I'm the lucky few
And
to get a ticket.
and then it costs
Right.
a whole lot more.
Right. But that would be the thing, wouldn't it? That you
Listen,
expect it to cost a whole lot more.
yeah, there are places in New York that have it's a restaurant and it's really somebody's apartment, and they only serve like 5 or 10 people, but it's legit. It's legit. It's totally legit.
Yeah,
Yes, but those cost more.
and
Yeah, they do cost a lot of
and,
money.
and
Yeah,
a lot of those are word of mouth that
Mm-hmm.
you get from one person to the other person. You know, they're not, everybody doesn't know because they're not going to be standing there outside the door. It's their word of mouth, and you go there, and it better be good. Because I'm in your house right now, so get it right.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
think.
I think again,
Hmm.
I know it's done in Florida at least once or twice before people say, wait a minute. Just like say, if it's, hey, we have Disney's Little Mermaid extravaganza. Okay, you got Disney's name on the flyer.
Hmm.
Does Disney know this is going on? I mean, it's one of those where, you could be, some people are bold. I mean, there are people who sold bootleg Jurassic Park tapes right across from Universal Studio. I mean, it's, yeah, you got to think a little bit. I mean, flyer looks nice,
Yeah.
but it's not at a Disney park. It's at some motel, you know, Fort Lauderdale somewhere. Like, wait a minute. Wait a- Okay, it's by the beach. I get that, but a
Yes.
motel.
Yes. Yeah. All right. There we go. But yeah,
but
that's
So,
you
it.
see something. You see
Hmm.
something with Disney's name and their corporate logo, whatever that is. I don't know what it is anymore.
Yes.
yeah,
But it has a air of legitimacy to it, right?
That's right. That's right. And we look at that and we see the branding and we believe,
yeah,
and if somebody, I mean, let's face it, if somebody has gone through the trouble of doing that and they intend to fleece you, then there's a great probability that you will be fleeced if they go through all the trouble. I mean, let's face it. If it's a fake and they're doing it and it looks real, it's you could possibly be fleeced. I mean, you got to make sure, where did I get this information? Who is it that gave me this flyer? Is this put on the windshield of my car? Or
mhm,
did my uncle say, this is really great? I took my kids last year, something like that.
yeah.
Consider the source, I
Yeah,
think you
Disney's
have to
pretty good
tell.
about crashing on people, coming
Hmm.
down on people about that too. So, hey, if you say it's in Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Disney's in Orlando. Why wouldn't you
Right.
hold it there? Well, you just call Disney, say, hey, oh, I'm just trying to follow up. Are the dates still set for your Fort Orlando
Hmm.
convention? And the
The
mouse says,
what?
what? The mouse says, what?
The what? The
Yeah,
where? Yeah. So
Yeah,
that's,
and
ask.
Yes.
what I find out about these cons is the fact is that if you call and ask like Disney, hey, what's going on with this? When is this going? How can I get tickets? You're not the first one to call. They'll
That's
say
right.
something like, "Sir, we receive many we receive
yeah,
many calls regarding this and they have a statement ready for you to
Hmm.
they're gonna read."
Yeah.
yeah.
This is not a Disney event. If you have paid X amount of dollars, please dial this number or contact your state attorney general's office or something. I don't know, but they would definitely tell you, no, not our event. You know,
You have to read. I have to read the Bridgerton one because I heard that, and it's like that would have, in general, would have set flags up for me. But it's just
why? Why?
okay. It's just
Why?
I, I it sound well. I don't know. It doesn't sound like the kind of show that we have an event like that. To me, that's what it sounds like. But
Oh
it's
my
They
gosh!
would.
just
Like I said, but I
Oh,
told you
there's.
earlier.
I
Yeah.
know they
But
got fan
we
clubs
did
and things,
one.
but
We had one here and for Valentine's Day, and it was done. It's like a vampire themed Bridgerton Regency
okay.
event, and it
So
was lots of fun. It was really nice, really well done.
the guests are just a local thing.
This is local. It is it's an organization that has events related to the Vampire Court in Dallas. So
Okay,
yeah, they do these events regularly.
okay,
See,
you were
but
familiar with
see,
them.
they have the reputation
Yes.
behind that people know that
Yep.
uh, they're good on their word.
Yes, they
This
are.
was that's another thing you can look at. When was the company formed to do this
Mhm.
event?
Yeah,
Because
and
most events take at least a good 2-3 years to organize, or at least a year, at least a good year. If they were
yeah,
just incorporated the day before the event,
yeah. I mean,
And
this is a it's a well-known entity. It's been around for a while,
yeah.
and that's some vetting people through longevity. How long have they been in business?
okay,
But there are some people been in business for a long time, and it's still sketch.
right. Because something like Bridgerton, you have basically an international cast.
Hmm.
Okay. Um, well, I don't know about there, but at least in America, the agents are in the middle of negotiating to bring their stars here.
Hmm.
So, of course, the agent's going to come with the celebrity and make sure everything's on the up and up. Okay, an autograph is this amount. If you want to personalize, it's this amount. So yeah, that's why I was
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of.
Oh
It
no,
sounded.
our thing. No, our thing was not like the stars from Bridgerton came. It was just a costume, uh, party,
Right.
Regency type um party based on the Bridgerton series. We didn't
Mhm.
expect anybody from the series themselves to show up. I mean,
Okay, yeah.
that
So
would,
so you knew familiarity. Okay, yeah. That's why I was a
and
little.
I didn't think the thing in Detroit expected anybody from the actual cast to show up, did they?
No, no, I don't think so. But they did it. They were expecting a ballroom type thing, and then when you see the
Yes,
room, the venue, and it's like, how's that venue going to support a ballroom type event?
right.
It looked like a gym
Huh, that's
without the bleachers,
Oh
and I was
wow.
like, that's not exactly a ballroom type setting.
Yeah,
yeah.
and a lot of that comes from people setting up events and not checking out the location in
Mhm.
advance.
Right. Location,
Expecting what?
location.
Yeah.
And that would have been if we're legit. It's like, hey, maybe we get the universities involved. Can someone from the costume department come in and show some
Mhm.
things, or talk a little
Mhm.
bit about Elizabethan
Mhm.
fashion? Or if you
Mhm.
get a professor who actually has a pulse and is enthusiastic, tells you a little bit about the royalty, Queen Charlotte, and all
Mhm.
that. I
Mhm.
mean, if you do it right,
Right.
that'd be a
But
great event. Yeah, but it's
but
just
that takes, putting it together piece
yeah,
by
yeah,
piece by piece,
yeah,
having a theme together and a concept and ideas to do things. And if you have not checked out your venue, like you
yeah,
say, as individuals going to this event,
yeah,
that we would want the venue vetted, that we certainly would want the entity that is putting on the event, that's hosting it,
Mhm.
to have vetted the venue as well. To go there physically, determine whether or not it's what they thought it was instead of, what it really is,
right.
'cause that can be
But
an issue.
if I'm an end user, then I'm just a customer buying a ticket. How would I know all that? I just
Well, I
show
think
up, and
yeah,
then
but
it's
the
If
like,
thing is,
it says it's in a high school gym and it's supposed to be a Bridgerton experience, it's probably not the right venue for
not
that.
going to be exactly what you thought it would be.
Thought it would be, yeah.
or it gives the address, and I show up, and it's a barn. It's a barn or something. It's like,
Yeah, well,
Well, but I guess with that case, where did you get the information regarding this? Did you get it from a friend? Did you get it
no, it's like
online?
a.
Again, somebody put a
It could be
flyer
like
on your
a.
car, or
It could be like a. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if people still leave stuff on people's cars anymore, but like an email or,
hmm
websites. Websites are a dime a dozen. So it's like,
right,
so
and
I'm an end
emails.
user. I say, oh man, I really want to see
But that's the
Dan
thing, you
Dan
can,
Steely because I'm reading
that's
really
right,
fast.
that's right. Manage your expectations and read carefully. You know,
and
that's
also if you're
it.
an organizer, you got to figure out when's the best time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We did StarCon. Let's see. That was like November, I think it was, Sonia. We were expecting Frank Marshall and Kathleen Kennedy.
It was
And I,
early fall when, uh, right around the time people resumed shooting things.
Mm-hmm.
that's
So
what it was. Yeah.
yeah, it was before Thanksgiving. When yeah, it was right around the thing when things start shooting so that they could shut down in time for Thanksgiving. So you know that a lot of people aren't going to be able to take that away. Or in the case of the Bridgerton thing, what was it? It was just before school started or something like that up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how is people going to have time and money to spend right around the beginning of school starting to do this?
And it depends on, and who is it that your audience is. I mean, if your audience is the people who are coming in for school that year, like college students who are coming in the week or something before class begins, then there's a probability that you'll have individuals that can come who have an interest. But otherwise, I think you have to think twice, if you're trying to focus on families that are going on vacation together and it's not during summer vacation or during winter vacation break or spring break, then it's going to be I don't know. You think, okay, why would you schedule a thing during this period? And are the people that you are expecting to see at this event, are they even available during those periods?
Yeah, because especially with celebrities and popular TV shows, you're lucky if you get it in the summer. That's the hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
That's time. And like Dragon Con, that's Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much geeks, nerds, we make clear the calendar for that time. So you'll get a turnout. But yeah, some other cons, it's like, guys, maybe you want to think about this. I don't think you
Yeah,
want to
if
have.
you're doing things during a period that's not summer vacation or winter break or spring break, because you have to figure if it's a television show, when are these people taping? You know?
We had a Dragon Con that happened the same time as a Salvation Army convention. That was an
Mhm.
interesting sight. That was just, we thought the people in Salvation Army were wearing costumes. And They,
How
they were
neat, because
looking at,
they're actual Salvation Army outfits. That's very
yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
and they were looking at us as like, what is going on here? Because they didn't know.
Huh?
It just had to be scheduled the same weekend. It was like, well, they were into it.
Interesting.
So they were
Interesting.
taking
Uh,
pictures with us, the
unlike,
costume and everything.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Interesting.
unlike the next year where they had the Baptist convention going on at the same time.
That probably wasn't the best idea.
No,
Whoever coordinated that should have thought twice. Well,
We
no,
had a
that's
good time picking on them, so we didn't care. So, but yeah, it
Or
was just
the venue that said, we're going to have the players from the Dallas Cowboys, and they weren't lying. They were players from Dallas Cowboys, practice squad.
yeah,
all right. Be very, very careful about
which,
this,
yeah, which,
which
and if
is
there,
true. It's
yes,
honest. It's true, but not what you expected.
I
yeah.
was
Yeah.
gonna say, yeah, that's when you vet also the people who would have the if we're filling in the blanks and saying, oh, we're expecting the stars from the Dallas Cowboys.
That's
Wait,
right.
aren't they on the road about that time?
Yeah, that's the thing. So you
Yeah.
have to figure, okay, fill in the blank. That's right. Don't fill in the blank. If you want to know if a person's coming, ask. Don't take it for granted.
Or they
Ask.
happen to have a game at the same time you're running this con.
Right,
You just
right.
assuming they're
Yeah,
going to stop by.
yeah, right. At halftime.
Yeah, right. Because there's always plenty of time during halftime.
That's right. They jump run by during halftime. But again, people get so excited they don't manage their expectations, and think they're gonna get something that, in all honesty, if you are paying $25
Yeah,
and you're thinking that Dak Prescott's going to show up, I
Yeah,
think you really need. I mean, unless this thing is being sponsored by the NFL and
exactly.
like you say, and Pizza Hut or
Yeah.
something like that, I don't think you're going to be able to get a ticket that costs $25 that's going to have those people
yeah.
showing up.
To
That's
read,
not a
I
good money.
was gonna say,
For
to
fun.
use Otto's comparison, if you're paying $25 from Steely Dan, you probably all the way up in the nosebleeds if it's that cheap.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
and if there are no nosebleeds in this venue, something's wrong.
right. Or $25.
Although I did pay $5 when Eddie Murphy was doing stand up.
Hmm.
His tickets were like $5 at universities.
Well, that because one, he
Again,
knew his
being un-
audience. His audience probably could only afford $25, and he was
No,
also
five,
five. His audience was
$5.
only $5, and there was a good chance that he would be recording it. So the money is
Yeah.
actually coming from the company that's sponsoring the.
Yeah, no, he's being underwritten by the university. He did this on
Right,
It got to
the
be
games.
right because I
So
right.
yes,
I
the
said
university is
when I
So
bought
underwriting.
it
those
would have
tickets.
said then sponsored by.
Right,
I
it's
don't
right
know.
there, the
I don't know
university.
what it said. I bought 5 tickets. I sold 4
Mhm.
for a lot more than $5. And it was Eddie Murphy. It
Well,
wasn't.
Oh
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't. It
oh
wasn't
yeah.
an impersonator or anything.
yeah.
yeah,
Back when I was in college, we had Dr. Ruth come, but it said sponsored by the student government,
yeah,
and so
Yeah.
students got in free.
right.
Everybody else paid 20, $25 to
Hmm.
get a seat. So things like that you check.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Right.
good. $5 for Shalimar and Eddie Murphy.
yeah,
Okay, so
Student,
fucking
yeah, your university or your student government covered the
right,
big
right,
I have
right.
no
quadruple.
idea. I know it made me a
Yeah,
lot of money. That's all I know.
scalping was kind of cool back in the day. Not so much now.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
scalping was legit back then.
People still scalp tickets. They do that, right?
That's different now, and I think it's harder because of people being able to buy online and some people just buying huge swaths of tickets,
Yeah.
and
Well,
that's the
yeah.
thing. So
Or
that's the
well, they
problem.
right now they just fake the Q. They give you a QV because now everything's with QR codes. They give you a QR code, and it's not until you get there that you discover that that's not a real QR code for this
Yeah,
venue.
Oh,
and that's
Penelope,
something.
you have to tell the QR codes gone.
Oh my goodness. Um, I mean, I don't know these things. Like my daughter is the QR code person. So we were driving down the street, and there was a person that had a sign out saying that so and so was in the hospital and they need surgery, and they're asking for donations. To click, they have a QR code. They click on a QR code, and I said, "Oh well, the people they have a QR code on their thing." And my daughter said, "Don't ever click on a QR code or something like that." So because they have these QR codes, they're the means to take over your phone and get all your information out of your phone, lock it down. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you go to trusted sources.
So yeah, but I mean, man, I mean, so what? She said, yeah. So do not click on just any QR code you don't know. So that they do these now to hijack your system on for your
Mhm.
phone. And I said, wow, who knew? Man, that's new stuff to me. I so who would do such a thing? So whenever you get something good, there's always somebody out there to F it up. So there you
Oh,
go.
yeah. And I think it was Super Bowl tickets. They got like hologram strips in the ticket, so you can't really counterfeit them like they used to do. So it's
Mhm.
just
But
a lot
people
of fun.
don't know to look for them. There's hologram and security stuff and money now. People
Yeah.
don't know to look for and or how to look for it, and so they lose their money.
Mhm.
It's one of those things. Have you really taken the time to look at your money? I mean, sometimes it's like they do make slight alteration designs, but just look at a $20 or $100 bill. You know, I look at stuff like that because I'm
I
in
never
But
IT.
look
I,
at it. I never
but
think of it
yeah,
as I
I
never
just
think of
got
it as
fascinated
phony.
by the design in
mhm.
it. So
Yeah. And if you have old money, people think it's phony, but it's not phony. It's real money.
Well, it's like I hate to talk about the George Floyd thing, but we never saw the bill that allegedly said it was fake. I mean, it's
It could have just been
like
old.
Penelope said, it could be an
yeah,
old $20 bill.
Yeah, it could have just been
Old,
old
a
money.
lot of old money looks fake.
To people now, to me, new money looks fake.
Mhm.
Old money looks normal to me. The new money looks fake to me. The ones that have the holograms and stuff on them.
And that
Hmm.
stupid pen they have is meaningless. It doesn't. And then you see like the cashiers hold it up to the light. They don't know what they're doing.
No, they have some are using pens. At least that'll give you a color change if the 20 is
Mhm.
fake. But it's just yeah,
It's
20s are the
it's so
most common.
they don't know. There was a guy here. There was a guy in Dallas who found a hack through that. He basically had phony money and he used hairspray to spray on his money so that when anybody marked him with that pen, it would come out saying that it was okay.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
And
That's
so
right.
there's always a hack to every
Yeah, or
everything.
like the counterfeiters who took $1 bills and washed them and then reprinted them with higher
Mhm.
denominations. You know,
Yeah. Yep.
everybody's got a thing. Because they say it's not the plates and stuff, it's the paper. That's the big deal in getting
Here with
for.
CD-ROMs, you try to bootleg a CD-ROM. It's like, oh, you can't copy it. It's like, okay, challenge accepted. Someone
Yeah,
took a someone took a black marker, a Sharpie, went around the edges of the CD and made lots of copies off it because the encryption was on the edge of the CD and the marker just basically covered it up. So the
there you
so the disc reader didn't say, okay, there's nothing there. Oh, there's the movie. And just starts copying. So,
go.
so
Amazing. I mean, that's the thing. But just like you say, if there's a thing out there, there's somebody out there that knows how to get around it. But that's why you have to be careful, with these, especially these
There's
cons, because it's not just the money. I just think that it's like the psychological damage. It is
mm-hmm.
the PTSD that comes from going somewhere with such high expectations.
Yeah,
You're going to have
anticipation.
a good time,
You
and yeah,
dress up for it. You
yeah,
tell your friends about it,
and you get
and then
there,
you feel like such a fool
yeah,
afterwards.
you feel taken advantage of, and you look back and you say, "Oh man, if only I had."
Yeah, fill in the blank.
Yeah, fill in the blank, exactly. If only I
well,
had filled the
Yeah,
blank.
it's one of
like
those lessons you gotta learn. Unfortunately, it's just
they were interviewed a lady and her mother, and they're like, we spent over $1,000 that we really shouldn't have to go to this Bridgerton thing. And I was sitting going, if you knew you couldn't afford to spend the money to go properly, why go?
I mean, but
Especially
sometimes,
for something,
I
especially
understand
for
that. I
something for
understand that.
this.
I
If you
understand that.
if you have to buy a special outfit to attend this particular event, as they had to, because the Bridgerton thing said must dress show up in
And Regency, right?
emergency.
But I understand
I
that.
understand going to the event and buying the ticket, but if it's you can't afford the thousands of dollars that are required to get the type of outfit necessary just to walk in the
But
door.
You'd be surprised how many people justify. You could easily in your mind justify the cost of saying, this is a one-time thing. I'm taking my
Yeah, or like,
son, daughter, whatever
my
to this
mother
thing.
has never been able to go to a thing like this, and she has agreed this time to come to this event, and I really want to take her somewhere like this for her to have a good time. Yeah, you'd spend 1,000.
yeah. But then once she finds out you got taken, she'll never go to any event ever again. It's like, you
Yeah,
remember how you got
That's a
taken?
downside.
you know what? But that's why, we sit here talking about this, the things that you need to do to make sure, or at least to give you some hope of not being taken, so that you don't have to suffer through that
Because people get
Or on the
tired.
very worst, you take all of the advice we're giving, and if it still turns out to be not quite what was promised, you at least have some kind, go to, as these people did, go to the media, go to your state attorney's office.
You're not
They
going to
were
get your money
actually,
back, but you're not going to get,
Yeah, but
and it's not,
but have the
and
consolation. But the
it's
issue
not your
too for
fault,
me,
and
yeah,
it's
it's
not
not
your
your
fault.
fault. The consolation of going through and making sure you've done everything you can think of in order to make sure that
Mhm.
you've crossed all your T's, dotted all your I's. But understand, there are career criminals out here that do this stuff.
Right.
And if they decide that they're going to do this thing, you get caught up in that net. Sometimes that's the thing that happens. All we're trying to do is say these are certain things that you can do to try to avoid it. That's all. You're never going to avoid it 100%, but at least give yourself a fighting chance by walking in with your eyes open. If
Mhm.
that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it possibly is. You know, use your judgment. If your spider sense is tingling, let that be a warning to you that maybe this is not something you maybe back in the past you've seen this before. It's got a haunting refrain to it. You can't explain it, but it makes you uneasy. Then best maybe to walk away from it. If something just doesn't, it's not passing, as Otto always says, not passing the sniff test.
Well, and to
Yeah.
Sonia's point is if never bet money that you can't afford to lose, right?
That's right.
So it's
That's
like
right.
if you go way over your head,
Mhm.
the more you get to that point of that breaking point, the more vetting you should do, right? But
Mhm.
and like I said, people justify those costs because it's like, I never go anywhere, I never see anything, this is a once in a lifetime thing. So they justify it. But if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna go close to that line, be even more cautious.
And there are some people who don't learn their lessons. The guy who organized was it Fyre Fest a couple of years ago, basically scammed these rich people. It's like for
Yep.
some big event on an island, and all he wound up was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
gee, Sam, the guy's out of jail, and
Mhm.
he's planning another event. And there are people who are just then signing up. It's like, do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, I bought my ticket
These
yesterday.
con people are sociopaths. It's
Yeah.
just,
I bought my
Yeah. He
ticket
said, I need
yesterday.
some money. I was in prison. I don't have any more money.
Yeah,
Why are
I
you
bought my
trying to?
ticket.
Why are you trying to deny me money,
It's like
Gary? It's
it's
not
like
right.
Donald.
It's just
It's
not
like
right.
Donald Trump. It's like Donald Trump cryptocurrency.
exactly.
Like people.
Yeah.
Come on, really?
Uh-huh.
I'm an IT, and if that's not a scam to begin with, if you can't explain to me like I'm five, then I know this is nothing that we want. It's just
Yeah.
it's pretty much used by people who are trying to hide their money from criminal acts, arms dealers, traffickers,
Yeah.
drug
Yeah.
traffickers, and it's just even the feds. Eventually, they found a way how to access the money because they busted a couple of drug dealers who were using crypto, and they were able to hack into it. But it's like there are people who are just gullible. The man is selling watches for 100 grand. He's laundering the money. The same watches that I've seen on Temu for $4.75. So it's just, and these sneakers,
The
I guess,
digital
good
Yeah.
trading cards, $100 a piece.
cards. It's like we went through this NFT scam, and there are people, like I said, it's just money laundering. I can't, I mean, I'm sure a handful of them are gullible enough to buy it, but,
It's
or
not.
was it Trump,
Oh, I like
like
the
Trump
NFT
bucks?
stuff. I think NFTs are great. I mean, the concept
The
that it.
concept is fabulous. How people have been executing it is another matter.
But you know what? But that's the whole issue. People can always make a scam out of anything, no matter how
Hmm.
good it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the concept that as an artist, you sell a thing, and then when it's sold again, that you still get a cut. I like
If
that a
you get
lot.
a cut, if you get a cut, but if you're just saying it's exclusively yours, you can't make copies. No, it's digital. You can make copies. So
It's not. It's not the.
I
It's not the
just
copy. It's the licensing, the number,
right.
the
If you get,
license on it that you can only get. Only
some
you can
people
get
are,
the license.
mm-hmm. And
Well,
some
it's
people
Because
like
are
it's
like
like
but
this.
saying
the
it
thing
can't
is,
be
but it's no different. But if you're saying that, because you can copy it, the NFT thing, that is no different from somebody getting your piece of artwork and that you have online and copying it, the physical
But
copy. It's no
but
different.
but
If they're
the
going to scam and thieve, people going to scam and thieve. You know.
but the thing is, it's just like we said in the beginning. It's like in my mind, I can't understand it. I don't understand it. So it's not getting my money because I don't know. I don't understand it. So I may be losing money by not putting my money in it.
But if you
But
don't understand it, you're not putting
I'm
your money in
not.
it.
Yeah, it's the
That
same
makes
thing
sense
with
to
Bitcoin. It's like
me. Hmm.
I could put like all this money in Bitcoin, but then I couldn't figure out how do I get my money out of Bitcoin. How
And
do
it's
I?
not going in. You know.
yeah,
And yeah.
and you can lose value the moment you put money into it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So I say you can't explain it to me how this works or how
Uh
you
huh.
generate bitcoins. You got to have all these servers. Hold
Hmm.
it. No, no. How's it? Why is it better to me just do a direct deposit the old-fashioned way through the bank? What's the purpose?
Hmm.
What's the
Yeah, I
purpose
mean,
of
I
it?
understand like money market accounts and stuff where they
Yeah,
give interest and bank
Hmm.
accounts where they don't give a whole lot of interest. I get all that stuff,
Hmm.
and maybe my brain is too stiff to understand new things. But that's bad on me. I'm not gonna take the risk.
Hmm.
it's supposed to be the new currency. It's like, well, we are kind of an electronic currency. I mean, I don't really carry cash bills that much anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's pretty much electronics on
Well,
my
but
debit card like that.
when was the last time you voted? Anybody on here voted check?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's been
I
like
can't remember.
forever.
I cannot remember the last time I wrote a check.
I
10
think I
years
did
ago?
2 years. Oh, 10. I was thinking 2 years ago, but
Do
Okay,
you know
like
where
yeah,
your
10 years
check?
ago?
Do you know where your checkbook is?
yeah.
Do you have a
It's in my
Yes.
desk
checkbook?
drawer.
Yes, I know
Yep,
where mine is, but I have not used it in 10 years.
I
that's right in
never
my
got.
desk drawer.
I never got one with my
if that
account.
long, if that long, if that short a period, it may be longer.
I'm like
Mhm.
Sonia. I mean, I opened a bank account. I never got a check,
Hmm
a thing of checks. I got nothing. All I got was like a card or something. That's it.
And I remember the
Yeah.
first time that ever happened to me that I got a checking account and they didn't give me a checkbook, and I'm like, what is going on here? Where's my checkbook? And it's like, well, if you want checks, you can just you order them, you know, like just order them. You send somebody your information, they send you back a check.
Oh, I
You
had
know,
started
Here-
checks when I started, but yeah, things change.
yeah. I mean, I was so surprised when the first time that ever happened to me that
Hmm.
the bank itself did not come to me with a checkbook and say, here's your checkbook. Nope, it's here. Well, here's the thing, and you can go to this place and on I think by then it was online and
Yeah.
buy some checks. Say, man, it's a bunch of cheap
Well,
people.
it made you feel
Hmm.
grown up. You know that
Mm,
that's one of the things that made you feel grown up. That
have your own
you
checkbook.
could signature on a check, and you could like a
Yeah,
grown up person, and you can give a check to someone and walk out the store with a thing. You
yeah.
know,
I mean, the thing that's really
I'm a
interesting
grown
to
up
me,
now.
the thing that's
Yeah, just
interesting,
remember look at the balance in your
you
checkbook.
have the what do you call those things? You can do, what is it called? When you're signing, you get a notary that you can get documents done and notarized now online.
Oh, okay.
And that is incredible because that was one of the issues that we always talked about when you're filing documents in the deed records that they have to be notarized. And now, all that can be done, online. You don't have to actually go physically to a notary. Crazy. Because
Oh,
that's one thing I
so
said, man, I would, if I could have figured that out, 20 years ago, that's what I would have done.
yeah,
Learn
I
how to do online notaries.
They have classes now up here for that.
Hmm
haven't had anything notarized in years. So yeah,
hmm
that's new to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a bunch of documents I needed to have notarized, and we went the old fashioned way. I didn't know that was available.
Yeah. That is available online.
Depends on the state law.
Yeah.
Hmm
Or there's an app
I
for that. You
Yeah, that's right.
app,
There's an app
app
for
for
that. That's
everything.
right. Well,
Isn't that how the Graceland almost got stolen? They
don't
sent it away to a virtual notary, and she was about to authorize it when she went, wait a minute. When she checked what the address was and saw that it was Graceland.
Well,
There's no way the people that were listed could be the owners of Graceland.
well, it used to be the documents couldn't be filed, at least in particular
yeah, the
states,
deed records. Yeah,
unless you had like you had to have blue ink signatures.
signature. Yeah,
And so I never understood what was so magical about blue ink.
Blue ink can't be photographed, can't be
I
duplicated. When you fax it,
well, it can
doesn't
now.
come.
Oh, we
Yeah,
can
now.
now. What's so magical about blue ink now?
But back in the day, it could,
Yeah,
if you
they do.
faxed over
Yeah.
blue, it would just
So,
disappear.
or also that it would
Or
come black.
photocopy.
Yeah, the photocopy is black. It would not
Or
photocopy.
I had people who not only said blue ink signatures, but they felt for the indentation of the signature.
Yeah, they were
So
not playing around
they'll feel on the other side of the page
to make sure it's an
that the
original
fact,
signature.
yeah, it had to
Mhm.
feel on the other side. It had to feel that the indentation on the page
Mhm.
Yeah.
in order to make sure that it was actually signed and not
Yep,
like stamped or something like that.
that's right. They're not con. You're gonna get a con from them. You're conning them. You cover the real
Now
and
most things are
correct.
e-signature. So
Mhm.
what do you do?
All right, y'all. Well, I'm looking at our time, and we're getting,
Oh,
a little past. But this has been a whole lot of fun. I thought about this when I saw that Bridgerton article. But I mean, we talked about the Fire Fest, but
And
then also
Wonka.
there was a DashCon where I mean the a lot of in Illinois back in I think 2017, 2015, where people paid all this money to go to these events, and it was nothing like they thought it would be. But again, there are people out there who will do this stuff and they do not care. And so that's why you have to care about yourself. Don't get overexcited, and think, oh my God, this is a thing. calm down, breathe in 4, hold 7, breathe out 8. Calm yourself down and make certain that whatever it is that they're saying that they're selling you is exactly what it is that you are going to receive on the other end. You know, look at all our little what do you call our tips for you, which we started out with don't underestimate your own intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
The pitch should make sense to you. Don't fill in the blanks. Don't presume what is not specifically stated. Um, if in doubt, check it out. If you are not certain that your favorite person, act, whatever will be at the event, check at their website or find their publicist or agent and ask. Check to see whether the event was advertised beyond social media and word of mouth, and determine whether local businesses and vendors have bought into the event by sponsorship or vending, and also determine whether the venue can support the type of event that's being publicized, and also manage your expectations and read the event information carefully. And the final one, we said don't invest money into an event that you cannot afford to lose if the event is a scam. So there you go. These are our tips for you to try to avoid these terrible things happening to you and to determine whether or not your con is a con. So that's it. So we thank you very much for joining us on this Saturday, September 28th. The next time you see us, it will be in October.
Can we say one more thing? Happy birthday, Gary.
Oh, Gary's happy birthday, Gary.
Gary's birthday is coming up.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. And with that being said, I guess we are done. Have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. Have a very profitable and productive next week. And we will see you, what is it, on the, 4th? What is it? When do we see you again? We see you on the 5th next week back here in the Other Hood. Take care of yourselves. Good night.
Good night.
Bye. Hit the like button.